Farm Fam, did you miss me? I hope you had a great Christmas holiday. I meant to put up a video yesterday, but the day just got away from me with spending time with family and just having a good weekend. So today got away from me too. That happens very easily. I am a procrastinator, but also like things just go by. Off. Good. Those who say that cats can't be trained, or those who say, I don't know if anyone says that, cats can be trained. So we're working with Kit Kat. That's what we decided to name the cat because we are keeping her because no one's claimed her. So we're gonna keep her. It's not to get on tables and not to go into certain rooms, and so far pretty good. I mean, she's not perfect, but it's gonna take a lot of time and effort. I mean, because unlike dogs that we've trained to do kind of our bidding and what we wanted, you know, we didn't breed cats for that. So it just takes a little bit more effort, but it's possible. But anyway, whatever I was saying, day got away from me. What I want to talk about today is soil health, and that is probably one of the most important things that we can talk about, because if we focus on keeping our soil healthy, that's going to help people be healthy and animals be healthy, and it's going to make this world a better place all around. And so we're just going to kind of graze the surface today. So this is an article written by Emma Louie. I'll put the link down below so you can look at this, and it's written by MBG. It's Mind Body Green, and I've never heard it before, but Stan found this and sent it over to me, and I just wanted to share it with you. And you know, it's no secret that America is a very unhealthy place, and a lot of the food that we have, especially the processed food, isn't very nutritious. People are dying of malnutrition, not lack of food, but of malnutrition because they don't have the nutrition that they need. And the best way to get that nutrition is organically through food. But unfortunately, because of current farming systems, that our way of growing food isn't sustaining the health of the soil, which means your food isn't as nutrient dense as it used to be. I believe it's in, there's 3 books I'm going to put down below that are amazing to talk about this subject. And they go in a lot more depth than science and stuff, and they're really cool. But Ryland, you got people with hard names, man. Ryland Engelhart wrote Kiss the Ground, and I believe it's in his book, but I've seen it elsewhere, that, and in the article it says that our food is 50% less nutritious than it was, I think they said 50 years ago, and that's crazy. So that means that to get the same nutrients out of an orange that you would have 50 years ago, you'd have to eat 5 to 8 more oranges just to have that same goodness, like the vitamin C and the fiber, fire, but the different nutrients and vitamins and stuff that come from plants. And so, it doesn't taste as good. Things that are nutritious, this is not including sugar and fat and things like that make sweets and different things delicious. But food that has more nutrients in it is going to taste better. A lot of people who think certain vegetables or whatever maybe taste waxy, or they don't taste good, or things here and there, like, it's because they don't have the same nutrients that they used to. When you have, especially Red Acre Center in Cedar City, they make that they grow these amazing greens, and the salads from there are just incredible. The taste is amazing. The variety, it is so cool. And they've been working for a long time to build soil health and do healthy things, and they're amazing. And so if you don't like vegetables, try finding someone in your area, or if you're in Utah, please check out Red Acre Center and try out their stuff, because you might find that the taste is incredible. The same with when we grow sweet corn, it's you can't even compare it to the canned corn from the store or corn on the cob you get from the store. That is nothing compared to this homegrown sweet corn. Anyway, oh, sorry, I kind of bumped your head. When we talk about how we get nutrients from plants, the only way the plants get those nutrients is by the soil microbes. So the plants are like the housing unit for the soil, for the microbes, and the microbes actually do all the work of getting those nutrients. So if there isn't any microbes, those plants aren't getting nutrients, and that is the big reason why a lot of farmers use chemical fertilizers, is because we need to replenish the soil, and that there's not enough microbes to get those nutrients to the plants. And I heard somewhere that some plants, especially those that are laboratory grown, can't even communicate with soil microbes because they just don't have that ability, and so you have to give them fake fertilizer in order for them to grow properly. I don't have any detail on that though, because I think I heard it at a food conference, a farm food conference. But anyway, and so the microbes is the important part. We need those microbes to get the nutrients from the soil, and so everything is connected to the soil. And the way that works is the plant sends out this thing, like the plant's the manager, and the roots are the manager that say, hey microbes, you want this sugar thing, because the plant will give the microbe sugar in payment. Like, you want this sugar thing? Well, to get this sugar thing, I need phosphorus, or I need magnesium, or whatever it is. And that microbe, through the various chains, different things, will get that a nutrient, come back, give it to the manager at the root, and then the root pays them with the sugar molecule. And that's how that system works. It's it's like any city, when you mess up the natural order, or different things, or shut something down, or you go through and you have just major war in a city. So right now there are some towns in the Texas border that are being destroyed with gang violence and cartels and stuff. You can't expect that city and businesses to flourish, because the basic life has just been torn apart by war. And that's what's happening to our soil. We are, and I don't want to make light of what's happening to those people who are suffering there, but it is a very similar situation, where in a smaller scale. But when we as farmers go in with our tillers and plowing, and we just tear up the soil and plant roots and everything, we just till it up. Yes, it makes it kind of easier for us to plant, because it softens the soil, and it also in the end makes the ground level, so it's easier for us to drive our heavy equipment through it. But when we do that, it is like war zones in a city. We tear up the microbes, we tear up all this delicate construction that is made by worms and beetles and microbes and all this different stuff, and so we don't leave them alone enough to them create this infrastructure in order to do their natural thing of getting nutrients to give to the plant. And again, that's where the chemical fertilizers come in and stuff and that. And also we are leaching the soil, because when those plants take those nutrients, they're not giving it back. The only way to give back to the soil is to leave plants, like leaving the root system and part of the plant. And that's why on a normal year when we graze, we want to leave, I think if I remember right, about 60% of plant matter there, and the cows will kind of trump that in, and then fertilizing pee and poo from the cows, that gives back to the soil to then feed and get everything back going in this city of microbes. And I don't know percentage wise, but a lot of farmers don't do this. They don't give back to the soil, and we've just started doing this. Stan, I think, did his first cover crop maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, I think about 3 or so years ago. And so far it's worked out, but it takes years, it takes decades to build back up. And of course, bringing cows in, what we're doing with that is going to speed up the process to help make it more nutritious, the soil healthier, and thus the plants healthier, which makes the beef healthier and makes you healthier. It's just this a circle of life kind of thing. And I wish I found this right thing, but another great book by Nicole Masters, For the Love of Soil. I believe in there she talks about, and there's also said in other things, that a tablespoon or teaspoon of healthy soil holds millions of microbes. There is a lot of life in the soil, and when we take from that, when we tear it up, we are ruining it. And I want to say that part of the big reasons that farmers use the methods that we have is, for one, farmers have only been doing this kind of farming for the last maybe 100 or so years, not that long when it comes to civilization. And a lot of the places in, and maybe this you don't really care about this kind of stuff, but I wish it's by Rome. There's places in the Middle East that used to be fertile and very rich and amazing, but because of plowing and tilling and working the soil, they actually killed their soil, and so they had to expand. And that's where a lot of wars come in, is because they're trying to find new land to feed their current country. And so when you find these civilizations that actually work with the soil, it's awesome to see that happen. And that's what we want to get back to, is this healthier way of working with nature instead of taking from nature. And so this is a quote from Kiss the Ground. It says, "The problem is that most conventional agriculture practices erode the organic matter and life in the soil. And when we till and stuff, and then we water it, there's nothing to hold the soil together, and so it just washes away any nutrients that are there." And that's part of the problem. And another part of this problem is where I mentioned that this is kind of a new thing, is that when the government is very into subsidizing agriculture practices, but they are not into subsidizing more healthier versions of agriculture. I think that maybe they're getting a little better now, but I think she took my train of thought. She derailed it. And so if you do a cover crop or doing different things, or the government will pay people to leave their fields fallow, which often means that these people won't plant anything. They till it up, they get it right, and they don't plant anything. And the government pays them to do this. And that's not a good thing, because they leave nothing for the soil. Wind can take the topsoil. Oh, you're stuck. There you go. The wind can take the topsoil, and then there's nothing in them. There's no plant life to feed the soil. And it's just dead ground. And the government does so much subsidies for corn and soybeans and other things that take so much from the soil, and don't really give back. And if they're not encouraging cover crops, we're just taking, and not that corn and soybean. There's a third one, and I'm trying to remember the three. Corn, soybeans. There's a third one that's really popular. And when we're doing this, it's almost like monocropping. And when we're only planting one crop, even if we're rotating, oftentimes you're going to get more pests and diseases and stuff for that crop. And we're building, so we just don't have a diversity. We're like, all of our practices, from government intervention to what makes it easy to what the system we've built, it's not healthy. It's not good. It's not good for us. It's not good for the soil. And so we need a radical change to focus on what's truly important, and that is the soil health. Because one, I think everybody needs to get back to nature. And it doesn't mean you have to go and live in the country. It just means just being aware. Even taking a weekend to your family and contacting a local farmer and asking if you can come help. I mean, you may not be doing anything crazy, but just doing something to get back. Do a garden, have something, like touch the soil, like be part of it, because you're going to be more understanding towards what it takes to make your food. I think it's an injustice to you and your family if you don't know where your food is coming from, what it's made out of. I mean, that's so important. Like, just, I think about how I would just grab anything and eat it and not know where it came from and not know what it's doing to the planet. Like, not saying I know how everything works, but I want to try. And so get back to nature. If you want to come visit us for a weekend or even a day and sit and smell the cows, which actually smell really good. It doesn't smell like poop and crap. I mean, there is poop and crap, but it doesn't smell like that because of this more natural and better way. And it's also winter, so smells are down. Anyway, come, and I guess maybe you want to wait until it's not winter because there's a little bit more going on. But get back to nature. Understand what this takes to make food. Stan was just telling me, with us going to the dairy and hauling manure, and he's just seeing all the work that they put into a dairy, taking care of the cows, and like there's always something going on, like all the time. Like, it makes sense when you go to someone who's not being subsidized by the government and is selling their good natural whole milk, that they could be charging up to $14 a gallon. And you know what? It makes sense. Dairies take a lot of work. But yet with government, with subsidies and with interventions and middlemans, we take so much from the farmer and only pay maybe a couple bucks for a gallon of milk. And there is, because of our current system, there's no profit in going more natural. And people are scared because if some people try to change their practices to go more natural, they lose their subsidy or they lose their crop insurance, because certain crop insurance often won't cover some of this stuff. And we don't give people the opportunity to try something new. And it needs to change because we need change for the better. Let's see, what else do they have there? Also, with the tilling and stuff, Mark Hyman, MD, on part of this Mind Body Green podcast. They have a podcast. That's cool. I need to look it up. He says we are destroying the ability of the soil to provide nutrition to the plant. And again, that war zone with the soil is we're taking their ability for the plants to take care of themselves. We're destroying that natural cycle. Oh, and here's where he says that it's estimated that the nutrient density of plant foods is 50% less than it was 50 years ago, thanks to the invasive way we've been farming. I'm not saying we need to stop farming, we need to change the way we are farming. And in a lot of ways, it's going to be a lot better, and it's going to be easier. It's going to take less fuel. It's going to take less chemical fertilizers, which can be bad. It can pollute natural water and other things. You can look that up. There's some crazy stuff about that too. So without plants being able to uptake micronutrients, our food is deficient, therefore our health is deficient. A lot of people are sick or have anxiety, depression, list goes on and on. I can't even name all of them. And a lot of it is the way we live, the way we eat. And if we can get back to nature, get nutrient food, really focus on this stuff, I think our bodies will be able to heal themselves and our communities will be able to heal themselves. I often, without going into detail, a lot of stuff that's going on today, I really think the way we can solve it is if we lost the ability to be on social media, kind of lost electricity for a while, and had to work with our hands to survive, help each other, and to grow our own food. I think we would get a big dose of reality of what's really important, and I think it would fix a lot of things. But anyway, and this is just a really scraping the top. We're not even going that deep into a lot of this, and it's really incredible to learn about this stuff. Another great book is by David R. Montgomery called Growing Revolution. Is that the whole title? Growing Revolution. Growing a Revolution. Anyway, I might have missed the Growing a Revolution. That one's really good too. And currently there are a lot of regenerative agriculture practices coming up, and people are working more towards that. But I think we can make a more drastic effort. It's not just a farming effort. It has to be a government effort, really a community effort. People need to care because unfortunately, it's where is the money? Farmers need to make a living, and if you, and I hope you don't because you're watching this, if people just want cheap food, then you're just letting us go into a terrible cycle of self-destruction, because without this healthy food and good food, which is gonna cost money, it is, and farmers need to be paid a livable wage. Farming is, and I'm reading this book called Killing the American Dream, Shannon Brooks, that's what it is, talking about how farming used to be held as one of the most amazing careers, and when people leave their roots and worry more about comfort and substance and personal thing, I'm trying to think of the word material things, then farming is believed, and some other things like that is believed to be a low class thing or whatever. Like, we are growing your food. We are the reason that civilization survives. And you getting to know a farmer and making sure they're doing good practices will make it so if something happens and you can't go to the store, you are still going to have access to food. And that is why, like, our bulk beef program is so amazing, is because no matter what happens, you are going to have access to food, good food. Not food that's going to put you in the hospital and give you diabetes and stuff, but good food that's going to be good for your whole body and your whole family. And it's good for the planet too. So we can do what we're doing with cows without big machinery. Big machinery makes some things a lot easier and nicer, but that's the great thing about this regenerative farming practices is it takes less big machinery, which costs less and allows for more human interaction. So that's the biggest thing. And they kind of talk about getting some certain vitamins and minerals in, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't know if they were paid to talk about that, but you can do your own research on that. And I've already gone long enough because, wow, I can talk a lot about this subject. But anyway, we'll probably talk more about this later, but I just wanted to touch on it just a little bit because that is the main reason Stan is doing what he wants to do, this our sunny side up pastures, is because it's going to be better for the soil, which in the end is going to be better for everybody. So well, it's kind of cold right now. I was gonna say for a little challenge or a little back to nature moment to take off your shoes and socks and go find some grass or some dirt and just stand in it and breathe it in. But it is flipping cold outside, so maybe not right now. But maybe go touch a tree or go find some livestock animals to watch. I don't know. Do something. Whatever it is, could be small, big. Maybe it's watering a house plant and observing your house plant and what is going on in there. Maybe looking it up on YouTube or whatever. Like maybe if they have a little video on like how a plant gets its nutrients. Like get back to nature because it's going to be so good for you. It's going to really be a reality check and just understanding this circle of life that God has made of us, of you know us eating plants, or let's start with animals, plants using the soil, and then animals eating the plants, and then we eat the animals, and then everyone dies. And I wish we had better burial practices so we could go back to the soil and give our body and give our nutrients back to the soil for the plants to use that. It's just like Mufasa talking to Simba and the Lion King and this circle of life, and it's beautiful and amazing. And I wish it was just more acknowledged and commonly known and accepted, and just realize that this is how life is. One of my favorite things is Dave and I we were watching Avatar, the blue people Avatar, where they, the space and stuff, and when one of the blue people die, they just put them in the fetal position, the classic burial pose for ancient humans, and then they just put like flowers and stuff in it, and I just like, oh, that's what I want. It's beautiful. Go back to the soil. I've taken so much from Mother Nature, and I would love to give back. When I die, I want to give my body back for it to use. But anyway, so I hope you had an amazing Christmas weekend, and now we're coming up on New Year's weekend. A lot of my family's coming down again. I'm really excited about that, and it's going to be crazy fun. Oh yeah, we got a lot of new games for Christmas, so that'll be fun. And yeah, thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye!